Hello, it's Mojo at Mojo Returns. So from the title there, don't watch this video if you have not seen it too. Again, don't watch this video if you haven't seen it too. Spoilers. Okay. But this movie tripped me out, man, and it really got me thinking. Um, what if it is a Punisher, right? There's a couple of things that are really weird about this movie that trip me out. Like the thing that got me is when they leave the town, right? They seem to forget, right? But nobody says that's any kind of magic, right? Are they just forgetting because they've done some really wicked shit and trying not to remember? Um, and then when they get back to the town, they are kind of forced to remember, right? And they're like, "Oh, look, my memory's coming back. Yeah, fancy that," and it was really weird, right? And then you had Stanley, right? This is one of the first things that got me, man. Was they're like, "Oh, Stanley died." Nobody went to his funeral. Not a freaking one. Nobody went. Didn't even care. Thanks, Stanley. That bothered me. And I don't know why. And Stephen King, I'm sending this to you. I know you wouldn't do that without, you know, a reason. But these jokers didn't go to any funeral. So that was weird. And then you had the whole fortune cookie scene, which had a couple of weird, unusual visuals. I didn't catch them all. I'm going to have to watch this movie again. But one of the ones, obviously, everybody caught was the little baby insect thing. And that was cool and freaky. That freaked me out. But then later on, with the girl, I don't remember her name, but the little strawberry blonde, there's a scene at the end of the movie when they're trying to take on it, and basically he said you should have used Plan B, and there they have her in a bathroom stall, and then all this blood flow. So I don't know if that signifies she had a baby and in the bathroom and threw it away, right, kind of deal, or if it signifies that she got pregnant, having some fucking bathroom sex, right? God, Jesus. Um, right, man. I don't know how women do that. Sorry, y'all, but right, that's a fucking nasty ass public restroom, man. Anyway, it's not to get too deep there, but they show her in the bathroom scene, right? And then the blood flow and blah, blah, blah. So that signifies either she had an abortion, right? She got pregnant, with some drunk ass freaky sex in, a public place, or, and then had an abortion, or maybe she was in the bathroom when it hit and had the abortion or had the pregnancy. But it was really weird. And it was this big blood flow scene and the reference to should have had Plan B. And then there's another thing with that chick that freaks me out now that I'm thinking about it, because I didn't pick up on any of this until the second movie. But in the first movie, the father is mad at the daughter, right? I mean, he has resentment. And I don't know why, right? And everybody just assumes he's an abusive father, right? Or at least I did. And I assume everybody else did. But maybe there's some people that are much keener than me and picked up on this. But yeah, he basically has, contempt for the child and blames the child for whatever happened to the mother. So what happened to the mother? Right? What if there was something that the child did that caused the mother to pass? I don't know. I haven't read the book or anything, but that's why I'm sending this to you, Stephen. Are you? And blowing my mind, man. So that's another thing, right, with this chick, right? is basically, apparently she had some kind of abortion, right? She's dating an abusive guy in the freaking beginning of the movie, right? And obviously that ain't the first time, and he accused her of messing around, right? And so obviously it was enough that he had gotten frustrated, whether real or imagined. But for what it looks like, it may not be imagined. All right, looks like this girl may get freaky and with a quickness, for whatever reason, right? Due to the abuse, due to whatever, due to running away from for whatever happened to mama, right? Who knows, all right? Um, but it doesn't really discuss what happened with the mother ever. So that's one thing. And then you had Richie. That was another one. Where, so the movie, for those of us who've seen it, it opens up with two gay guys, uh, getting the crap beat out of them. And at first I thought this was, part of the what I like to call the New Rainbow Coalition, which to me is just basically in Hillary Clinton's rogue intel agency, right? Just releasing some dumb stuff when she lost all this, you know. Suddenly everybody's, against gay people stuff didn't start until 2016. It was all quiet on the Western Front until then, and that popped open. But that's neither here nor there. Back to the movie. Um, Richie, the movie opens up with the gay people basically getting beat up, you know. And so I tried to forget the politics and focus on, okay, well, what if this is, even if this may be part of that, let's just say that this is part of the narrative for the story. And looking at it from that perspective, just taking the politics out of it, right? In the beginning, we have one big dude and some young kids from the town that beat up this gay couple, and then the older kid is so angry, he throws the one of the gay men over the bridge and basically kills him, or at least tries to. But then later in the movie, there's a scene with Little Richie. So funny as the dude who plays Michael too. Hello, it's Little Richie now. You can't see me, children, but I still love my dragon fire. And basically, that's the truth. This Joker is gay, right? And that's the deal, right? And so he kind of has a gay moment later on in the movie at the arcade with this other kid, who I think is this older kid. And the kid was kind of having a gay moment, right? And he was like, and then his buddy showed up, and then he's like, oh, fuck you, faggot, and all this shit, right? But it's pretty clear there was some homosexual tension up in the Hayes house. So, what happened after that is my question, right? So, what happened between this cat in the arcade that fake blowing the gasket and Little Richie, right? To get it to the point that later on later on going to present day, which is at the beginning of the movie, you have this what I think is the same person, that angry that he wanted to damn kill the homosexual people. He was that full of rage, right? And before it was a fake rage, right? He was like, and he was feeling it, at least that's how it looked like to me. But then at the beginning of the movie, which is really, present day, moving to present day, this Joker is enraged, right? And chucks that dude, no problem. I mean, tries to kill him, right? And didn't care that he did, right? And that's one of the reasons I didn't like the beginning, and it took me a little bit to kind of focus on the narrative there, because I'm like, that's feeding some really bad stuff that we got going on in present day, and I don't know if that was the intent or not, and it's hard to say whether or not it had a dual intent. I mean, freaking Stephen King's brilliant. I'm sure the people he works with are too, right? But taking that politicalness out of it and just looking at its face value, it looks like something happened between Little Richie and this other character that left one hell of a craw in this dude's throat that he's willing to, murder other homosexuals for it, or murder other gay people for it. And so that's strange, right? So they're, the losers are starting to look a little bit more like losers. And then, of course, you have, like I said, Stanley, who apparently dies. I don't know if that's right, if that's true or not, but he tells them he died, right? He said, and he says, with our unity, right? But none of them go to the funeral. And Stephen King is a smart guy, and he just doesn't leave that kind of detail out, right? There's not a oopsie, right? And that's freaking, hey man, these jokers didn't show up to the dude's funeral. So that's another thing. And then I don't remember much about the black fella that started off in the first one as a little boy in the library. But in the second one, at the end, he's the only one that stayed in the town, too. He didn't forget. And to me, that whole forgetting thing symbolizes, killing yourself off, right? To try to forget things that have happened so that you can live with your life, right? Maybe a form of psychopathy or sociopathy, one of those. But, that's it. And then that brings me back to, forget the name of that character, but the one that his little brother dies in the beginning of in the first film. And so that's weird, right? So when he encounters it kills another child in front of him, and but then one of the weirdest things happens towards the end there. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, which is there is a scene where it forces this dude to kill his little brother again. And then after he kills his little brother, it comes as the younger version of this character. And he kills it too. And so to me, that signified that he was basically killing himself, right? First he killed his brother, and then he had to kill himself to deal with, that truth. And so that's weird, right? So, that's just weird. And then, the other one with the guy with the inhaler, he just kept zonking out, and he would always just make weird comments. And yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I mean, there's just a couple things in that movie, and the strawberry blonde girl or the tomato, she ends up hooking up with after she leaves the guy that, supposedly abusive, obviously, he is in a sense, just kick the damn girl out if you catch her cheating, but, shit like that, when love's involved, good luck, right? So, the Jacker finds out his wife is cheating on him and multiple times, right? Not just once. And, I can't forgive it, right? But, I can see where something like that would blow some dude's top, right? But, but that dude was loaded, right? And then at the end, she's back on with the beach with this cat or whatever in his boat, back with money, right? Out of all of them, she picked a motherfucker with money, right? So that's weird. And maybe I'm being cynical, but that's what it looked like to me, at least from an optics perspective and signification. And I talked about the black fellow, I think, and I forget his name too. I should probably pull that up, but It is a little late, but yeah. So he stays in the town. When he runs into it, he says, "I know what you are to it," and it says, "I know what you are too, a madman." Now that struck me. And I was like, why is it calling him a madman? And then at the end, which is really bizarre, there is a scene where full grown Richie is about to attack it. And it just blasts him with the deadlights, right? Just knocks that Joker down, right? And he's like, ah, and looks like the demon monkey cymbal puppet from Annabelle, and Joker just wound down. I was like, dang. But the way it was portrayed using the deadlights, it's almost as if that body was some kind of shell for whatever that Trinity thing was that was spinning in the background that was sending the power or the energy or whatever you want to call it to the back of its head and out through its mouth excuse me, as another form of energy. And then there was the thing that caught me that was super odd, which was in both movies they reference A Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Now, when I Googled A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the name of that movie is The Dream Child. And at the end, when they're pretending, or when they're in their belief that they can kill it, he transforms into a little itty kind of baby thing, right? And it looks all innocent, right? And lets them dig in, right? They rip the heart out of this thing. And it's almost like he's like, you know, just waiting for them. But it looks to me like he's walking all these people through something that they have done before. And he may not be as bad a thing, or, well, he's definitely a freaking horrible thing, right? This Joker can, woo. There were some times I was shaking. That Joker can alter some reality. You will respect his realities. Because, woo. I mean, that's some powerful juju there. Forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, so it references A Nightmare on Elm Street 5 in both movies. And I forget, it's like when Freddy Goes to Hell or something like that, or it may have been in 5, that the dream entities that gave him his power are these 3 kind of ghostly apparition things. And you can kind of see him floating around in a kind of cloud thing at the end. Well, here at the end of it, you had 3 basically lights that were going through the back, that were sending energy out of the altar, or whatever you want to call it. Its place, its pad, but sending energy to one thing, and then basically from there it goes out its head, right, in a hole, and then out of his mouth. So it made me wonder if it is kind of just I don't know, an automaton, right, that is being activated by these dream entities. And again, I don't know if I finished my point there. It's getting a little late, so I do apologize again. But at the end of Freddy Goes to Hell, or whichever one it was, it shows very similar entities. And again, he said that he got his power from these cats. So, that's weird. but yeah, and as they're sitting there in their belief, he starts regressing into this little kind of kid baby form in A Nightmare on Elm Street, just called the Dream Child. And he basically Excuse me. Sorry to keep yawning on you guys. He basically has the same stuff and can alter reality. I mean, if you said this was happening in a dream, right? It makes a pretty okay Freddy Krueger. Not quite the same, but it is interesting. And so yeah, I think that's about all I got on that. Other than that movie, I think there's more to the story of the losers than meets the eye, right? We want to root for excuse me, for the home team, as it were. But as you kind of watch that movie with a discerning eye, and I do need to watch it again, but as I watched that movie with a discerning eye, it seemed to me like they knew what they were doing the whole time, right? It wasn't any kind of one-off kind of deal where the principal or whatever you want to call it, headmaster or vice headmaster, I don't know how you say it, didn't really care at all for those kids, right? Nobody did, not even the parents, right? But yeah, that tripped me out, man. I mean, it's a good movie. I recommend it. It really opened my eyes, and I did want to shoot this out to Stephen King just because I'd like to get your feedback. Am I hot, warm, cold? Never heard of that dipshittery? Get off my Twitter feed. Whatever's clever. I just want to know, Stephen. Inquiring minds got to know, brother. So I do recommend the movie, especially if you've seen the first one. It'll get you thinking. I mean, and it's a trip. But anyways, really enjoyed it, and thanks for your time. And I hope you respond back and let me know if I'm hot, cold, warm, piss, whatever. But I am interested to see if any of my theories are, I don't know if this is the right word, but validatable. Probably not. Able to be validated. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah. So for me right now, I'm kind of looking at this thing, and it looks to me like, that it's getting really late. I usually wake up at 4 a.m. It's midnight. I just wanted to see that movie, but it looks to me like what it is doing is exposing them to what they did, what they might have done, and what they're trying to forget. So there's something with at the end with that whole scenario of gosh, I'm starting to lose my train of thought. I'm getting sleepy. There's something at the end there with that whole scenario with it going down to a baby form and then them ripping the heart out, right? And to kill it, and I don't think they can. And then there's another reference to it in the movie, and I forget which one it was. I think it was the dude that hit the acne pipe. But there's a scene where he's walking through this area, and they play this music about I'm your angel in the morn. And so there's only one angel that I know that's a morning star, right? And that's old Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, right? So that was weird, right? When he was sitting there trying to get his intel, and then they played this music. That was super weird to me. But anyway, so I just wanted to get that out there. I'd love to know the community's thoughts if you can make it through my sleepy time vibes. But yeah, I mean, I got a whole new perspective on this movie as a result of that movie, um, which is basically a similar hypothesis to Stranger Things, which is basically the people who we're raising up as the heroes um, might actually be the oppressors. And, I'm not saying that for, everybody. I'm just saying in circumstances alters cases. And when you're dealing with something real, you just can't rule anything out. And, it's better to get it proven true or proven false than to not have it proof at all. I always say so. If it costs a couple $100 here and there, sucks. I don't have it, but I'll find it. I'll get it done. But anyways, that's all I got for tonight. I really appreciate everybody listening. It is a great movie. It can be slow at some parts, but it's a good solid 6 in my book. Um, Maybe even a 7, but I tend to play a little bit more conservative with my bets. But, anyways, thanks again, everybody, for listening. I look forward to your responses and good feedback from you on what you think. And I hope everybody has a blessed day and a blessed evening.